Hello, everybody. Welcome to What's Up on the EDH Rec Twitch stream. This is a weekly AMA/interview style show where we bring on well-known people in the Magic the Gathering community, and I bombard them with questions until they hate me. I'm your host, Andy Zupke, and joining me tonight is my fantastic guest, Brujaja. Brujaja, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Thank you for being here. We're going to kick things off with the first question right off the bat. The big question, the one that's on everybody's minds, the burning question is, how the hell are you? How are you doing? You doing all right? Hanging in there?
Okay. It was just my birthday this past weekend.
Oh my God, did you party?
That was chill.
It was
A little
chill?
bit. Pre-release was my birthday, so
Oh.
that was pretty
You
good.
party animal.
I know, I'm crazy. So wild. But yeah, I turned 37. That was weird.
Nice. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I've got
Other
five
than
more
that, my
on
life
you
is
there.
fairly uneventful.
So, and then you got to also celebrate with a Super Bowl win of your local sports ball team,
Yeah. Go Birds.
and your city was not completely ransacked, burned to the ground. So that's good.
No, people think we destroy the whole damn city every
Yeah.
time. And no, we don't destroy our city.
Mhm.
We destroy the corporate city. We destroy, like, oh my God, Chase Bank, the window's broken. Ugh.
Aw.
Like, however,
Will
okay.
somebody think about the
Flipping
banks?
Flipping cars, that one I don't have an excuse for. That one I don't got. The rest of it, we're not destroying our city. We're destroying their city.
Yep. For
Like,
once.
it was the convention center, but nobody touched Chinatown. It's right there.
Right. Good. Good.
Sorry.
No, that's why we're here. Hey, for anybody who doesn't know you in chat, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of info about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm Brujaja. I'm a Twitch streamer, mostly. I focus on Magic the Gathering. And I also do D&D content as well. I stream an original campaign every week. It's pretty fun. I run a series called The Salt Factory. I forgot what I do. I run a series called The Salt Factory. It's a EDH series where it's a 4-way mirror match of a Nightmare Commander in either EDH, and I now do Oathbreaker. We all slap the crap out of each other with the saltiest decks we could think of that are like almost CDH, but just under. Like the highest power you could get without crossing, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
So, like a bracket system 4.3?
Sure.
Something like that? We'll come back to the bracket system in a little bit here. But,
But like the first brackets in chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, strong as hell. Tonight we just did Tevish Zot, so that was pretty fun for EDH. And yeah, that's me. That's about it.
Mhm.
I'm a late night streamer. I'm not good for daytime television. So
No soap operas for you. I used to
all I
have
do is trash talk and curse at myself while I play Magic. So
well, that's always entertaining. I used to have a Tevish and Kodama deck that was pretty disgusting. But fun.
oh
What? Don't judge.
oh.
Don't judge. You can
Meanwhile,
do it
I
too.
built Tevish Jessica. Double Planeswalker is
Yeah.
what I built.
Nice.
It's pretty funny.
All right, friends. Remember, this is an AMA style show, and it's not just going to be me asking the questions here. Go ahead and start dropping those questions in chat for Brujaja here, and we will get to those momentarily. We're going to kick things off with a few of my own homegrown questions, and then we'll come back to all of your fancy schmancy, excellent thoughts and ideas here. So I like to kick these off by having my guest kind of walk us through your content creator journey. How did you get sucked into this lifestyle?
So I have to say, I have wanted to get involved in gaming streaming since Twitch was just in TV. And you would be banned for streaming anything other than gaming.
Oh, okay.
Like I I have always enjoyed that form of entertainment, and I grew up doing like theater and dance and everything you could think of. I did a lot of film in college. Like I've just always enjoyed entertaining. And then I went to film school and I learned a lot about tech. So when I moved here to Philly, not to get dark, but I essentially escaped a relationship and moved in with friends who just bought a house and bullied me into moving in with them. Um, Forever grateful. I still live here. And I needed to make money and I needed to do something. So I started picking up like a bunch of like random little jobs, part-time stuff. I'm chronically ill, so it was really hard to keep up with. So I ended up getting involved with online sexy work first and going through Suicide Girls. And once I had kind of built up a bit of a following on Suicide Girls, I decided now's a good time to start streaming. And I started streaming in the summer of 2019. So by the time 2020 hit and everyone was home to watch stuff, I had been going for like 6 months and I already like felt like I had practice and started getting things right for myself. So it was, I think it just started at a good time.
Yeah,
and then
you were ahead of the curve there.
So I still do a bunch of random little stuff, but streaming is essentially my full-time job at this point. I love it. So, and I have to give a shout out to the Suicide Girl followers I had that not only followed me to Twitch, but are still there. They've been there for years. I have become real life friends with some of them. Like, absolute great following. I really appreciate anybody who watches my content.
So, yeah, tell us about Suicide Girls. How do you get involved in that, and what's the experience like? Do you enjoy it? Is there what I always wanted to know is like, to get involved, is there like a minimum number of tattoos and or piercings you have to have in order to like be a Suicide Girl?
You'll get accepted as, they call them Suicide Girl hopefuls, and it's essentially you post these professionally shot sets in the hopes that they buy them, and if they buy one, you become a Suicide Girl. You get the official title. Then they own that set. Anything else you've submitted, you could always take back, use it for your own content if you'd like. So it's a bit of a process, but you don't have to have a minimum number of tattoos or piercings. You don't even have to have like alt-colored hair. Like, they are very open to anybody applying and joining. It is pretty fun. It is tough to actually get something purchased, but the community is so supportive. Honestly, it's probably one of the most supportive places I have ever been in my life, for the forums of Suicide Girl.
Wow.
Like, the fans are really, really nice. So if you would like submit pictures, they accept you as a hopeful, and then you have like a year to submit like a professional set. I was lucky. I live with a photographer, so they helped me a lot. I also went to photography school, so self-shooting was an option. And like I said before, I did a lot of tech, so a lot of editing and things like that. So I was weirdly qualified to be a content creator.
Very cool.
And yeah, that was pretty much it. They ended up buying a set. I really enjoy modeling. With the amount of goblin energy I have, you wouldn't think that was something I could do. I love it. I don't get to do it enough, but I love it for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. That's very exciting. So as far as content creation goes, what would you say is your proudest achievement in content?
I think honestly, for me now, Wizards has given me amazing opportunities to do stuff. They've allowed me creator badges at a few different Magic cons. I was recently an MTG ambassador for the Foundation set. So I've had a lot of, and I've made content for like their TikTok and stuff. I've been honored to have these chances, but I think the thing that was most exciting for me was when I got accepted to the streamer events.
Very cool.
Like I said, I always wanted to kind of be a streamer, so being able to have that like validity behind my content and that kind of support from Wizards was one of the coolest things possible. It I didn't think ahead that I would be getting my butt kicked in front of like 1,000 people on someone else's stream.
Oh, was it like you were playing against another streamer who was
Like,
streaming at the same time?
yeah, originally it was, I think, just streamers. Then it became streamers and like publications. So I played against NPR and IGN in the last one. And then now for Aether Drift, oh my God, for Aether Drift, they let in the Pro Tour players. And first of all,
that's not fair.
Discord, in the Discord, nicest people.
Sure.
Nicest people.
Yeah.
Super chill and excited to be there. So many creators were like, I just realized how bad at Magic I am. I didn't win a single game. I streamed for 16 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, I lied. I won 2 games. They were not in standard ranked. Never doing that again.
Very cool.
But it was kind of interesting to see in those events the difference in the way those 3 groups played between pro players, content creators, and media. It was like everybody was looking for different things in the cards.
Yeah.
So everybody was just a totally different take. So of course, content creators are like, let's show as much of this stuff as possible and make it work. And Pro Tour players were like, no.
Along the same lines, as far as content, like what is your would you say is your biggest goal as a content creator, or biggest wish, something that you would like to achieve or have come true?
I would I really enjoy what I do with my little Salt Factory series.
Yeah.
And I would like ideally one day to get to a point where it is a sit down in person live gameplay style show. And that can become my full focus would be that. I would still stream for sure. Always wanted to do this, but I always feel like there can be more.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I would watch that show. That'd be great.
So I want to do full-time nerd stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be living the dream, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm looking for more questions in chat here, people. Go ahead and start loading those up. I'm going to ask Brew
I didn't see
more.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Brew one more of my questions, and then we'll start digging through chat here. It just came up today, the brackets. What do you think? What are your
ramble for a minute.
thoughts?
I'm going to ramble for a minute.
Go ahead and ramble. You have the floor.
To open it up, I was very grumpy this morning pre-coffee when I tweeted that I just hated the brackets. That was not constructive. I apologize. However, I don't love them, and I have 2 initial reactions to it, one positive and one more negative. And to put things into context, I used to work at Topps, the baseball card company.
Oh, okay.
And I was one of 2 producers on a digital trading card app, and it was my job to come up with all the card sets. That is important for context. When I had voiced my opinion this morning, my negative opinion this morning on Blue Sky, a couple people pointed out that the article explains the differences on the infographic. When we would release these card sets for the app I worked on, we wrote an in-depth article explaining everything about it, when things were going to be released, what the end game prize would be, all of it. About 10% of the members of the app even opened the article section. Mm-hmm. King, the company behind Candy Crush, did a few studies before they actually released their app. where they were testing attention spans, and they found people kind of stop reading after 7 words or kind of stop listening after 7 seconds. I feel that we should expect the overwhelming majority of Magic players to not read that article.
Mm-hmm.
And to react to the infographic probably in a fairly literal manner. So without more in-depth distinctions and things at an at-a-glance ease, I think that's going to be a big hurdle in people understanding it. I did show the infographic and send the article to people I know who are not content creators and are not really on the pulse of things. And more than one of them said, I still don't know how strong my deck is after this. Yes, it's a jumping off point for Rule 0. I do appreciate that they were taking the time to put that together and give us a more concrete starting point. I do like that there is a list of what they consider like game changers, because those cards legitimately, they hit the board and everybody's play style tends to change to deal with that or to play around it.
Mm-hmm.
So that I understand. And of course, people were going to argue with that. That's what I feel like it is expected. It does concern me that power brackets are focusing on individual cards and not necessarily other factors that I feel like play into strength. The big one to me is speed. If your deck is built to resolve in 1 to 3 turns, it doesn't matter how many game changers you have in there, but the speed greatly affects the power of the deck, and I don't feel like that's considered. And the only reason that sticks out to me is that's actually how I rule 0, is asking people, when does your deck start to pop off? When do you shoot to win by? And also, do you have any infinite combos? Or like 2-card infinite combos? Because, like, I don't care. I'll adjust. But having that, like, it pops off between 5 and 8, great. I know exactly what decks I can play for that. And evenly matched to the point where there's no more threats on the board because everybody has the appropriate amount of removal. And now the game's too long because we're too well matched. I would love to see more information on the infographic for reference. But I do appreciate that they're trying to give more structure. I do appreciate that they are naming some specific cards that are like, these are powerful. They're powerful. Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I never assumed that they would, get it perfect right on the first try.
It's beta. It's as beta as it can be. There's going to be so much adjustment.
Yeah, there's certainly room for improvement, but maybe it'll be a positive thing. I guess we'll have to wait and see how it grows. But
the distinction between 4 and 5 for me was the one that was the least understood, because, and even some people had said this, that they were approaching it more as the mindset is the difference between the deck. And for me, I don't agree with that at all. High power and CEDH decks are built differently. And I feel like this opens the door for people to sit down with a 1-turn win deck and say it's high power because it doesn't use tournament meta cards to do it. That to me is a worry because, and I will go on record of saying this as a high-powered player, high-powered players are the most toxic. So I feel like we just gave them ammunition.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm sure there's a lot more conversations to be had about it.
We'll figure it out eventually, or at least get something that is more easily defined and understood. Again, it's beta. I think we're on a good track of trying to define some stuff, though.
But I mean, in the long run, I think it's safe to say that it's not really going to affect the average Commander player.
Yeah,
for the most part. A lot of people play Magic probably won't even know about the brackets. You know.
Yeah.
They're just gonna keep playing.
And when
their
they
deck,
do,
so.
I feel like everybody's gonna say their deck's at 3.
Right? 3 is the new 7. Absolutely. Let's get some questions in chat.
I think we're on the right track. I like the idea of it. I don't think it's perfect right now. That's all.
I don't think anybody thinks it's perfect, but I think there's certainly levels of how much they think it's going to be beneficial. I'm pretty much kind of even on it. I'm pretty take it or leave it. I don't know that it's going to be. I don't know that it's going to be beneficial or not. In its current state, I don't think it is. But it has room to grow, and possibly maybe what we get for past beta will not look very much like this. Maybe they'll test it out and they'll see that this didn't work and they'll try something else. So who knows? Who knows? Let's see. Morgan asks, how was your experience as an ambassador for Foundations?
Oh my god, it was so cool. It really was. First, kind of cried a little bit when they asked me if I wanted to do it, because that's cool as hell.
Right.
Especially because there's only a handful. Like, there's not a lot of people that get asked to be an ambassador each set. So it was really, really cool to even be considered. And especially for Foundations, because they considered it. Because it's the set to introduce beginners. It's to get people, understanding Magic. There was, a beginner box for a reason, and a lot of these starter stuffs for a reason. So to be seen as someone who is beginner friendly was a huge compliment. I loved that. Making content was fun. You did a lot of written content, like posting a lot about different cards that I love. I still won't shut up about Mossborn Hydra. Won't shut up ever till I die. Love that card. But yeah, it was really, really fun. I would love to do it again. Mm-hmm. They got that space set at the end of the year. I'm just saying.
Throwing it out there.
Let's see.
Now, is there like a cooling off period where they say you can't be ambassador for 2 sets in a row, or are you able to?
I honestly don't know. I know people did Innistrad and Aether Drift, but I think it's because Innistrad was a remastered set, so it was a much smaller release that it made sense. But like, I had asked about Aether Drift because I am not being normal about this set. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Okay. It's just fun. It's like stupid little janky, like weird little vehicles is not a normal thing that we do. Mounts is, where is that? So I'm such a jank player that's kind of right. Anyway, sorry, I'm digressing completely.
That's all right. That's all right.
So I think there's a cooling off period because they tell you that they want to try to give other creators a chance on a regular basis, kind of almost filter through us to give more opportunities to more people, which is pretty cool.
Cool. People in chat, keep throwing your questions in there, and hey, if you like what you see, go ahead and give us a sub or give a friend a sub, whatever. Show us that you love us, so we can keep doing this. 777s has the really important, hard-hitting question here. What's your favorite kind of sandwich?
There is an Italian deli on Long Island named Del Fior's. Everybody there is directly from Italy. They make a sandwich on Italian bread with the most insanely high quality homemade prosciutto, freaking mozzarella. They roasted red pepper. I can't even begin to explain to you how many times I have had this sandwich. It's not just that is my favorite sandwich from that specific place.
Now, does this place let you do your own toppings, or is it will they look at you sideways if you say, "Oh, give me extra mayo" or something like that?
No, they let you do all your own stuff. I mean, they're probably quietly judging
Yeah.
you, and they all speak Italian, so who knows if they're doing it under their breath. But, but like, I was going there since I was like a baby. I grew up there. They knew my name. They knew my family. Like everything.
Okay.
Like
So
greatest.
what are your toppings then?
So it was always prosciutto,
Yeah.
fresh mozzarella. It was roasted red peppers,
Hot or mild?
mild,
Mild. Okay.
olive oil, and actually and basil. So it was like a caprese salad on top of prosciutto.
Yeah. Was it? Did they toast it at all?
I did not get it toasted, but that's a texture thing for me. But you can
Okay.
definitely get it toasted. Yeah, you can get like anything you want there. Oh, I miss that place.
Yeah.
When I go visit my family, I get bagels, I get breakfast sandwiches, and I get Del Fiors.
Yeah. Back when I used to eat sandwiches, I've been gluten free for a couple years now. Italian sandwiches were always my favorite type of sandwich. I always loved like the mozzarella, the prosciutto, the
Yeah.
salami. I especially liked them toasted because then like the edges of the meat gets crispy. And
Yes.
but I can't
And then
eat
as I've
bread
gotten
anymore.
older, I start eating a breakfast dessert sandwich, which is it's just peanut butter on brioche, and then I have this chocolate tahini spread. That's it. That's it.
Chocolate tahini spread.
It's
Interesting.
so good.
Yeah, my daughter, like all the only kind of sandwich that she really wants to eat is peanut butter and Nutella. Everything else
That's how it
she's not
started, but
interested.
then it started hurting my tummy. So I found this tahini spread that just has slightly less sugar. It's
Sure.
been better.
Oh God, Nutella is just so much sugar. It's like
It's so
half
good
sugar.
though. It's so good.
Ugh, I hate it. I hate it. I don't
Heaven is
really
being
like the
able to eat
taste
as
of
much
it.
Nutella as you want without getting sick.
Yeah, it's too sweet for me, for
It's
sure.
very
But I hate Nutella because whenever I make her one of those sandwiches, it gets everywhere. The
It
Nutella.
does.
It's like
It really does.
I try really hard to not make a mess, but every time it's it's like watching a zombie movie, right? Where there's a big attack in the zombie movie and they get away and then, it's calm, but then one character looks down at their arm and
Yeah.
they've got a zombie bite. Same situation every time I make a fucking Nutella sandwich. I think, oh, I didn't make a mess this time. And then I look at my hands and shit
Biohazard.
is everywhere. I hate Nutella.
Biohazard.
That's me ranting about Nutella. Um, let's see. JJ Mickey asks, in the past, you've set up sober areas at cons. Will we see more such advocacy from you going forward?
Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me. I have someone I need to email about sober stuff in gaming. I did a panel not long ago at Too Many Games here in Philly, which I had the honor of having some fellow sober creators on the panel, namely Tron is Bad, and then sober advocate or substance free advocate C. Favretto Jr., who works as a counselor, youth counselor. So I'm trying to continue doing it in every space that I can afford to go, be it either speaking about it or trying to create some little space. I have a tiny Discord server. Well, I'll just announce where I am at a con and I keep a cube with me. And then if someone needs to physically remove themselves from a space but doesn't want to leave the room, let's play a weird little cube in the corner. It's fine. It started because I would go to lobby cons because I didn't feel comfortable doing the other stuff people were doing, especially MagicCon Vegas. Like, there's slot machines walking through the airport. That is not what I consider a sober city. Like, there's sober activities, but you have to walk past all of the stuff that's triggering to get there pretty much always. So I started in Chicago. After that, I started just bringing a little cube with me and setting up a space so that people didn't have to leave the lobby con, but they didn't have to be near the bar.
Cool.
and feel left out, and there would still be a little group. So I will forever try to be doing that, and hopefully doing more speaking about it in the future.
Very cool. Excellent. Let's see. Zoe, getting back to the game changer question, would you add or remove any specific cards?
Hold on, let me look at it again before I answer that question.
You don't have all 40 of the cards memorized already?
I don't.
Come on,
oh wait, I have it
Brew.
on my phone.
What the heck? I thought you were going to be prepared for this.
Look.
Get off my back, man.
All right. I mean, the quick tutors, yeah, those make sense to me to be on there. The super quick mana to me makes a lot of sense in there. I don't think I know all these cards. I don't know if I would take any of these off of here. I don't know how I'm like very hit or miss on Jessica's Will, but keep in mind I'm like so mid power that like
that's like one Jessica's Will is that
I don't
strong.
Like I don't love it in mid power, but also I don't know. That to me would be fine if it was off.
Now,
I agree with those black cards.
I think about cards that like change the game, but do it in a way that's like very quick, like game ending, game changing. Like for instance, Craterhoof, Gray Merchant of Asphodel. Should those be on the game changer list?
No. See, I feel like the kind of static game changing things like Vorinclex Voice of Hunger to me, that one makes perfect sense. Once Vorinclex is on the board, the game has changed.
Yeah.
Like how you have to play has changed. So in the most literal sense, yeah, like that kind of stuff, definitely. I don't know. I feel like a game changer list is something to workshop for sure. I have mixed feelings about it, but I can't solidly say what I would take or leave. I think I would take Jessica's Will off.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it's a good card. It's a strong card, but I don't think it's game-changing.
I'm kind of that way. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my only solid answer, because there's so many other factors that go into it. It's hard to say.
Along the same lines, we had a question from Kushernata. Based on your statements on the differences between high power and CDH, which is 4 and 5, what is an actual rules or card distinction you think would divide 4 and 5 cleanly? Any ideas on that?
I mentioned before, like speed, and I feel like that might honestly be the most distinctive way to do it, is the speed of your deck and what are you building your deck to do, I think should be taken into consideration. So if you're building your deck to win between turns 1 and 3, I think you have a CDH deck. Because like the average CDH game, I think if I'm remembering this correctly, is like 5 turns. Which great. But also, high power could definitely be 5 turns. But it's over by 8 for sure. So it's just slightly slower. For me, it always ends up coming down to how fast the mana is. But I know there's definitely other factors to that as well. So, yeah. For me, it's speed.
Yeah. That makes sense. Chat, let's get some more questions going for Brujaja here. I'm going to throw a few more of mine at you here. What's your favorite way to play Magic right now? What's your favorite format?
Funny enough, I've been getting so much more into Standard the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm also of the belief that it's healthy to play 60 card format somehow. and 100 if you're also playing 100 card formats, and just vice versa. It just gives you so many more perspectives on how to play, and how to see the game. And it's a fun challenge to jump back and forth between, no, this is not singleton. And no, this doesn't work in singleton. um, but yeah, no, standard's been fun for me. And honestly, with the stuff coming in Aether Drift to standard, I feel like it's about to change a bit, but it's about to be a very good time.
Okay.
A lot of graveyard shenanigans.
Graveyards. Okay. Which
As
which
a
colors?
Golgari lover.
Golgari, of course.
I found, though, at pre-release, Jund was doing well, and then any of the color combinations within Jund was doing pretty well.
Okay. Very
so,
cool.
Think about green always. Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely what I've heard about Aether Drift Standard. A lot of green going around.
And you have to exile loot. You have to. If you see a Cauldron come out, they have loot. Believe me, I love him, but that card is cracked.
Yeah. It does a lot.
It does so much.
So obviously you're playing on Arena, right? Do you do any standard paper at all? Or is it just
I don't do any standard paper. My friend and fellow creator Shannibal has been trying to bully me into it for months.
Are they going to pay for you to do it in paper?
No. We went away for a weekend, and she brought just a fully proxied, like, Golgari mid-range deck for me.
Oh, okay.
So, like, and of course I was going to try it. It's Golgari.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fun. I really do like standard. I just, I feel like keeping up with cards is a little rough for me because I'm a broke person. So Arena's been the best way for me to be able to keep in touch with it.
Right. So when you're playing standard on Arena, are you ever trying to climb the ladder, or are you just keeping it chill?
I tried ranked exactly once.
Once?
Exactly once.
How did that go?
I blew through bronze, I blew through silver, and then I needed one game to hit gold. I got land screwed so many games in a row that if I lost one more, I was going down a level in silver. And I don't mean like a little bit land screwed. I mean, one game in particular, I missed 9 land drops in a row. Which, first of all, kudos to me that my deck was able to last another 9 turns while grossly behind on mana.
Yeah.
But yet, I gave up, and I never played ranked again. Because the mid miss so mad. Like, that's not worth the stress. I'm just gonna stick to my little brawly brawl. And let's make some clue decks. I don't know.
So you play Brawl too?
I play a lot of Brawl.
Who's your commander? Or commanders?
So right now, I love the Azorius Starfish commander that came out with Jumpstart. Plagon.
Okay.
Where he works by hitting the board, and you draw cards for however many creatures you have whose toughness is greater than their power. And in Azorius, that lends to a lot of sea creatures. So it's very entertaining to beat people to death with a bunch of little like crabs. Just unblockable.
You got crab.
Stupidity. Like, you literally killing people with unblockable crabs is honestly one of the funniest things I've ever done.
Hell of a way to go.
It does well. The deck wins a lot. And then, who else have I been playing a lot recently? Belladros. I don't know. That's been slapping the shit out of people. I don't know where that came from. No idea.
Anything in Aether Drift that you're looking to turn into a commander deck?
Oh, okay. There's so many things that I have thought about. There's the 4-drop Rakdos legendary who is interesting, where you it makes things power 2 or less unblockable, and then you take additional damage. So it's like a damage doubler. That's been very interesting to me. forget her name. There's honestly so many of them. And then, of course, I've seriously thought about loot, but I'm already building his foundations mono green card, and people are gonna hate me enough for that. So maybe I shouldn't. I shouldn't do that unless they make it all 3 loot cards and all clones. Oops, all loot.
Yep. I don't know. Yeah. I think you should do what makes you happy.
But yeah, that Rakdos commander is looking very, very interesting to me. At minimum, she's getting a brawl deck.
Yeah. Cool.
Minimum. I mean, I build decks as my content. So like the other night I had to delete a bunch of decks because I had reached 100 again. Like I have to do this every few months. So a lot's getting built from Either Drift for sure.
Well, okay. You're quite the brewer, huh?
I mean, I get bored. I get bored, and I feel like it's boring to watch the same damn thing over and over. And like I said, I'm a broke person, so drafting is expensive.
Yeah.
So it just became kind of a natural progression where it turned into just deck building nonsense all the time.
Cool.
See what happens.
That. Yeah. Some of the best decks come out of that method, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. 777 asks, how did the Salt Factory games get started?
Because I gotta stop making jokes on the internet. My name started as a joke. The Salt Factory started as a joke. I said, wouldn't it be ridiculous? Funny, even. I said this to I'm pretty sure, Goddess of Blunder. Wouldn't it be funny if we did a pod of all Turgrids? And then we did. And that was the first episode of the Salt Factory, which, by the way, the Salt Factory was a placeholder name.
Yeah.
Also a joke. We did a 4-person Turgrid pod on Spell Table. It was the first time I purchased Infinite tokens. Because what else do you do? Like, I keep making jokes on the internet, and they keep turning into actual things that I do in gaming. It's pretty funny.
How many paper commander decks do you have? And which one's your favorite?
I don't want to tell you.
You got to.
All right.
It's the rules of the AMA.
Before anybody says anything, I do not have a problem. Deck building is a form of self-expression, and that is why I have 20 completed paper commander decks.
Oh, that's not that bad.
I think I have more. I think I have more. And then I have... Hold on. 11 on my desk being built. Nope, 12 being on my desk being built. But one of them is a Pendragon commander deck, so that's...
Okay, well, that's different. Alternate format. That doesn't count.
Different.
Which one's your favorite?
People always expect me to say Tiny Bones, but I never get to play that brutal little guy. He's a nightmare. Honestly, it's actually really hard for me to pick. What do I always end up bringing? Right now, honestly, Gitrog might be my baby, even though, like, it's not a good Gitrog deck. It's not that Gitrog deck. The only combo in it is...
Old Gitrog or new Gitrog?
Old Gitrog.
Okay.
The only combo in it is Exquisite Blood. So I just spend the entire game ripping through my deck to play, like, a turn 12 Soul Ring until I can find exactly one way to win. Like... But that kind of stupidity is, I'm obsessed with it, and I love it. And then my other little baby is my Golgari food deck, and that was...
Nice.
Actually, funny enough, so the first the first EDH deck I ever built was Sir Conrad the Grim, and it was to play on EDH Rec.
Oh my goodness.
I still have that deck, and it has only become more brutal over time.
I'm a big fan of Connie. I think he's probably the most powerful uncommon legend. Either him or Tatiova. But Connie's brutal.
The two of them I honestly think should be rares.
Oh yeah.
That's too much.
Definitely.
But and honestly, Conrad's probably one of my favorites. Like Conrad's probably one of my favorites also, because that one is like blinged out. Like that, I invested in that one because it's so near and dear to my heart because it was the first one I built. So like I can't. It's like ask me to choose my favorite child.
All right. What Magic set are you most excited about for 2025?
Oh my god, the Spacey set.
The space set? Okay.
Space set. I don't remember what it's called. I'm worst Magic creator. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Looking it up.
Hold on, we'll get there.
Oh my god.
What's it called? I don't remember either. Why am I spacing out on the space set?
Edge of Eternities.
There you go.
That's coming out in August.
Got there.
Now I got Aether Drift for my birthday, which awesome. Every year during the first quarter of the year, their first big Magic set of the year is always like the week of my birthday is pre-release. Every year. So I've had like Obi-Wan, at Karlov, at Aether Drift. I'm having a good time. But Edges of Eternity comes out around my half birthday.
Yeah. Mid-30s is when you start celebrating half birthdays, I believe.
Oh yeah. Hell, why the hell not? But I'm not gonna be normal about that set either. I'm honestly not even gonna be normal about Tarkir. Like, I have exactly one Dragon's deck, and I'm like, oh, like, I don't plan on building another. I just want to keep making that one more ridiculous. Like, that's it. But yeah, no, Edge of Eternities, Urza in space. What are you doing there? What you doing? Gonna find out. Probably up to no good.
I can't imagine, yeah.
And this might sound silly, but I am so excited to see what the full art lands look like from that set.
Probably gonna be pretty cool. Probably similar to the Unfinity shock lands. That's
what I'm saying. I love the Infinity one.
Yeah,
I have a whole bunch.
Pretty beautiful.
I didn't know they were expensive. Somebody gave some to me, and I was like, "Hey!" And they were just sitting on my desk, unsleeved, for a year.
Oh my goodness!
They're a mess.
Did you spill coffee all over them?
I've gotten somewhat. Granted, I would never sell. Like, you'd have to pry them out of my cold, dead hands. I love them. But yeah, so very excited for Tarkir. Even more excited for Edge of Eternity. Nice. I'm also excited to find out what the end of the year, like be whatever the new unannounced Universes Beyond is.
Have any predictions?
I'm bummed it's not SpongeBob and we're only getting a secret layer.
Oh, really? You wanted a whole SpongeBob set, huh?
I would lose my mind. I would be so excited. At least like a commander deck. I don't even care. Like that, and because I very badly want a legendary creature named Gary. I want an uncommon creature to be Gary. Because I got into Pauper EDH recently. And I built Mono White Gary clone from the Fallout release.
Okay, yep.
So now I'm building Gary, Mono Black Gary. So I think it would be very funny if SpongeBob had a common Gary, and then I could build another Pauper EDH deck, and then it's only Garys. No more Pauper after that.
Whatever makes you happy, B, will make me happy. I hope.
See, and that started as a joke, and now I'm building the second Gary on my deck. Joking about Gary clone accidentally invented a new form of Dan called Gary, and more than one person invested in doing cards for this. I do kind of want to be responsible for raising the secondary market price of Gary clone.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one crowning achievement in your life.
Goals.
I mean,
Goals. I joke all the time that I take credit for Tiny Bones making resurgence because I started cosplaying Tiny Bones about 2 years before Dundee Junks came out, and their production schedule may have had room. I don't know. You're welcome.
let's see. Let's. Oh, we've got a raid from Mental Misplay. Hello, Ellen and friends.
Hi, Ellen.
Happy to have you all here. We're here with an AMA with the amazing Brujaja. If you have any questions, throw them in chat. For instance, we got JJ Mickey asking, what's been one of your favorite in-person interactions with another creator?
This is a good question because I've had so many good ones. So, Queen of Cardboard and I have become incredibly close. She's honestly one of my best friends at this point. And I've had so many great moments with people, but the creators that I have like the best moments with are like once we become like actual friends and we're able to compartmentalize the professional personality from the personal personality. It's great. So in Vegas, everybody loves my partner. Shout out to Gozer Kazarian. Everybody loves my partner. He is the sweetest man alive, and he comes with me to all the conventions. So when we went to Vegas, we went to her fundraising event, and she saw the both of us and actually physically shoved me out of the way to go hug Gozer. Shoved me hard. I almost fell over. I was crying laughing. Because like the fact that I was able to make those kinds of friendships through professional connections was not something I expected. I just kind of figured it would be like strictly professional between everybody I met, but I'm happy that I was wrong about that. But yeah. So
very cool. We got time for just a few more questions here. I'd like to do a bit of a lightning round thing, just a few quick questions to close us out, if that's all right with you.
Hell yeah.
All right. Favorite movie?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nice. Good choice. Favorite musician or band?
The Black Keys.
The Black Keys. Okay. Last thing you ate?
A protein granola bar.
Wow. Exciting. What's your favorite food?
Probably cheeseburgers.
Oh, that's such a good choice.
Just
Another
a solid,
thing.
like greasy diner cheeseburger.
Yeah, it's another thing I miss terribly since having to give up gluten is cheeseburgers. You know,
I miss diners.
There are gluten-free buns, but they're never good.
They're not the same.
They're never good. They're sad. They're always. But I'm with you there. That would be my that'd probably be my deathbed meal is a big old freaking cheeseburger with some bacon.
Absolutely.
And some crunchy French fries. Oof. Excellent. Brujaja, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been
Thank you for having
me. Absolute pleasure to sit here and chat with you and get to know you. This is the first time we've really interacted, so it's been a treat.
Except you having to chase me down for my stupid headshot. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. We got there eventually. That's what matters. Before we go, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online, how they can support you, and any upcoming events that you're going to be having or at?
You can find me usually here on Twitch most nights. That's my main content, so best support you could do is give it a follow. I'm also on Blue Sky and TikTok and Instagram. And YouTube. That's the important one. YouTube. I definitely need more YouTube subscribers, so even if you don't give a crap, but you're cool with me, I'd appreciate a follow. I don't have anything coming up I'm not going to be doing a lot of cons this year. I'm just brokety broke. I'm going to try to go to too many games again in the summer, which reminds me I have to apply for a panel. But otherwise, that's it. You'll just see me floating around Philly game stores.
Very cool. And I'm Andy Zupke. You can find me on Blue Sky at Zupkeep. That's Zupkeep. We will be back next week, Tuesday, at the same time with Ryan Nicholas, aka Tron is Bad. So make sure you come hang out for that one and ask him all of your questions as well. We are going to raid. We're sending the love on over to Trivial Encounters, is playing some EDH. So tell them that we said hi, and we'll see you next week. And have a great night, everybody. Bye.
Glorious.
Sweet.